Welcome to Nanny News. I am your host, Ashley, and you can follow us on all social media platforms at the Nanny News. We are a channel that shares the juiciest stories that we can find that take place in the nanny industry. Last week, well, maybe a couple weeks ago now, we sat down and we did one of the biggest interviews we have done so far on our channel. And I swear it's the best episode I've ever done. If you have not checked that out, I don't know what you are doing. We sat down with the 2023 Nanny of the Year, Angela Sutherland. Oh, guys, it was truly magical. I was able to learn a lot about Angela in this interview that I know a lot of you guys will learn too. And her story and her journey is just so inspiring that honestly, it will make you just be like, let me get myself together so I could be like her. Like she is just truly inspiring. If you have not checked it out, I highly suggest you do. Well, before you do that, stay tuned for this episode because we got some juiciness for you as well. This episode, we are going to dive deep into a couple different stories. There's so much that takes place on the nanny industry that it is so hard for us to just hit every single story for every single episode. Otherwise, y'all, we would be having millions and millions of episodes. Well, we do have a big majority of episodes, but I wanted to dive deep and hit some stories that are very good and juicy, but not needing a full episode. So it's going to be kind of like a news story. We're just going to hit and fire. I got about 4 to 5 different stories that I'm going to share with you. We have some celebrity shout outs that some of the celebrities did with their nannies. I have some stories that are a little harder to talk about, but they could happen to any of us nannies. So I think it's very important to bring some shining light to that. And just, another good juicy story about some nanny that she did something crazy. So anyways, guys, sit back, relax, and let's get to another episode of Nanny News. So the first few stories we're going to share are going to be about our celebrities. I think these stories are always tend to be the best in high view for us because they are one of the juiciest. I mean, it's really cool to see other high profile families like this shout us nannies out like they do. And because you don't see it happen quite frank a lot. And it's just really nice to see because I know that especially with these nannies that work with these very high profiles like celebrities, they put in a lot of work, and they sometimes they don't get recognized for that, and it's really nice to cool to see. Chrissy Teigen was the first one to recognize her nannies. It was Mother's Day last weekend, as we all know, and she shouted out in her Mother's Day post the team of nannies that she has. She has 4 different nannies in her household. Each kid has a nanny, and then the new child that they just had about 4 months ago has 2 nannies that help him out. They have obviously a day nanny and then a nighttime nanny. Throughout her post, she shows pictures of the kids and the nannies, which we all know are just like the best. In her post, she says, "I'm grateful for all the people who make it possible for me to be the best mother I could possibly be. I am endlessly thankful for your presence in this home and all of our lives. We love you." And the pictures just matched the comment even more, make it even more special. Another celebrity that shouted out their nanny and said that they were very thankful for him was Brittany McHomes. As we all know, is Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback. She said she is very thankful for her nannies. She was in an interview and they asked, how does she do what she does? And she says that she can't do it alone. She is very thankful for her set of her household employees. She named them all. They have a chef, they have a driver, they have a couple nannies, and a nighttime nurse. They have it all. And she was just she shouted it out and said she was very thankful for that, which is just cool to see another celebrity shout us out. So another thing that happened for us in the celebrity news drama, as you guys know, a few weeks ago, I want to say about a month ago, we shared a story about Olivia Wilde and Jason Sudeikis and how their nanny was suing them. As you guys know, there was some drama that happened between them two. Olivia was dating Harry Styles at the time, and left Jason in the midst of all of that. And the nanny was in the middle of it all. They fired the nanny. Well, Jason fired the nanny while they were overseas. Jason is in does a show called Ted Lasso, and he was recording in London. And one day he came home and just fired the nanny out of the blue and told her to leave. And she had nowhere to go in London, and didn't help her to get home or anything. So the nanny is suing them for basically wrongful termination lawsuit. But now they are firing back. Jason and Olivia are firing back with the nanny, basically stating that the lawsuit is wrong. It wasn't filed in the right state. It needs to be out of public. It's even more drama than it needs to be. So it looks like in this post on this video that Jason and Olivia are back on good terms. For a while they were not on good terms, and that's why the nanny did what she had to do, which she needed to leave because she was in the midst of this. When they were going through their little drama, Jason and Olivia, they had the nanny going back and forth from one household to the next household, and in the middle of it all, the nanny posted and did an interview with Daily Mail where she exposed pretty much everything, text messages, like receipts, everything that they did, she exposed. And now she's suing them, and now Olivia and Jason are basically trying to say that what she's suing them for is not right, and that did not happen. So at the end of the day, we're never going to know the full true story of what exactly happened. But as we know, as us nannies, something like there's things that I'm sure the nanny was taking advantage of, and that the celebrities like Olivia and Jason don't realize. So it's part of the industry, but I thought it was really interesting to see that now that Jason and Olivia are back on good terms and now are trying to go back and hunt down the nanny when they put the nanny in a very traumatic situation. So check these. I'm going to be linking all these articles below so you can read the full article. This one is very, very juicy, y'all, because you can see them all lovey-dovey in these pictures. And literally just a month ago, I was showing you how they hated each other. So it's a good story. So check that out in the description below. We are going to kind of jump to a whole different vibe now, guys. That was the celebrity juice that I found for this week. We're going to jump to just something different. This happened in Oakland, California. It's totally different than celebrities. And then this story can be kind of hard to hear. But it's a story that could happen to honestly any of us nannies or any parent or anybody that has a child with them or anything. So it's just a story that needs to be well known. There was a 63-year-old nanny who was walking with her toddler child that is 15 months old. They were walking in their neighborhood like they do on every morning. This was a Tuesday morning at about 10:52. And when all of a sudden a car comes and approaches upon the woman and the toddler, the car stops and the man comes out and points a gun to the nanny's head and demands the nanny's purse while they're on the walk. And the nanny started screaming. He started pulling the purse. She started pulling the purse. So it sounds like she started fighting back, didn't really give him what he wanted at the time. And he fired the shot to the ground. Luckily didn't fire it at her, but fired the shot to the ground and left without the purse after he fired the shot. Some of the bullet shields did end up hitting the nanny, so she did get injured. Luckily, the toddler, thank God, did not get hit during this incident. But they weren't able to get the suspect. The suspect is still on the loose. But as we know, this could happen to pretty much any of us nannies, because I know that we all take walks every single day in our neighborhoods, and it takes like that, just a blink of an eye, and our whole life is changed. So just be well aware when you're out on your walks. I don't know if some of you carry pepper spray, some of you carry any type of self, something that protects you while you're out on these walks. If you don't, then maybe you and your family, your nanny family, can come up with a plan to keep you and your baby safe. Because even though if you're working in these nice neighborhoods with the gates and security guards, it don't matter. It still can happen to any of us. Or even while we're at these parks with these kids, can happen in the blink of an eye. So keep your eyes aware. They are looking for the suspect, and they're offering a $7,500 reward for them. The lady, the nanny, she was taken to the hospital, and she is looking like she will be recovering. And the child was safe, so he was perfectly fine, which, thank God for that. I mean, I know it sucks for the nanny, but it's just, I thank God the baby didn't get hit. And I'm thank God the nanny didn't get shot in the head instead of a bullet hitting her somewhere else. So yeah, that story was something that needs to be told. I think you all should read the article about this, because, like I said, it can happen to any of us, and it is very, very scary. Very scary. Another scary incident that happened to a nanny. This happened in Temple Park. Excuse me for a second. In Temple, Texas. This happened in Temple, Texas, where a nanny and her kid were at a park, and a coyote started running towards them and almost attacking them. The nanny said that she noticed a coyote while they first got to the park. She said that the park is close to a wooded, foresty area, so it is bound to happen that might be animals out. She said she noticed the coyote, and she noticed that it started walking and pacing back and forth. And while it was walking and pacing back and forth, it was staring right at the nanny kid and her. So she was already aware of it. So kudos to the nanny for noticing it right away. When she said that she started noticing that the coyotes started taking off and started coming towards them, she grabbed her nanny kid, and luckily, thank God, the car was close by where they were able to jump into the car and be safe from it. The time that the police and the animal control arrived to the scene, the animal was gone and not seen again. They say that in this area is very prone to happen, that it is mating season, that these animals are coming out to find food because they've been in hibernation for so long. So it has happened to be, they say that it can happen. They say if you do see a coyote or see some type of stray animal, make noise at it. It says do make some type of noise to make it go away, because I guess it doesn't want humans at 90% of the time. So if you scare it away from you, that's how they say that's the best way to avoid an attack when you're about to get attacked, I guess. Luckily for this nanny, she was well aware of it, because as we know, this can be a whole nother story to it. These two stories, like I say, can be kind of hard to talk about, but they are well needed to know in this industry, because this can happen to any of us at any day, at any time. The lady that was almost shot and was robbed, that can happen to us at any moment, guys. And that's without our nanny kids. That's just being in public, because that's how crazy the world that we live in. And so our job on top, like these, as being a nanny, you just have to be well aware of where you're going, and look at all your surroundings. And when you feel like there's something that is off, or your gut is telling you that there's something off, then take that in consideration, because that means that is true. Like, take that gut feeling and just grab your babies. Better safe than sorry, in a lot of things. Comment below if you have ever been in a situation with your nanny kids that was crazy like this, or could have been in harmful, or was traumatic for you. That's the word I'm looking for. Comment below if you have ever been in a traumatic type situation with your nanny kids. That could be anything. I'll share a little story from me. I had two twins. They happened to be my cousins, and this really isn't traumatic. I mean, well, it is traumatic, very traumatic, but doesn't have to do with anything with guns or robberies or with animals. But I happened to put my one nanny kid into the car seat, and I shut his door, and I walked over to the other side, and all the doors ended up being locked. The car was on though, with blasting air, because it was hot outside, and that's the first thing I always do, is start the car before I put the babies in. And the car was locked. And he was locked. So I had to frantically call the AAA, and I told them that I needed them to be there within a matter of 5 minutes. If they could not be there within a matter of 5 to 10 minutes, then I would have to call the police and or break the window. And luckily AAA was able to come. They totally understand. I mean, the guy was like, "Oh my God, we're on the way." Like it was a blessing in disguise. But that was very traumatic for me. And now to this day, even with, because you guys know, like push to starts, you can't lock doors without the keys, fobs or whatever. Even with, because I have a push to start now, even with that, I keep all the doors open. Well, I at least try to keep one door open, like the driver's some door open, even if it's the trunk, something, so that doesn't happen to me. I lived and learned my lesson on that one, and I'm sure that these nannies that have been in this situation lived and learned as well. But comment below if there's anything that happened to you that might have been traumatic that you and your nanny kid has experienced. All right, guys. So our last story for today. This one is a very, very big one as well. I wanted to end with this one because it's very big and it's huge for our industry. And I remember hearing about somebody in the national nanny. That's my girl, and she's in DC. She mentioned this in a clubhouse, the Year of the Nanny Clubhouse. If you are not a part of that club, you're missing out. But she mentioned this and how she was part of being able to make this happen by being on the Domestic Workers Alliance. So this is about us domestic workers. The House is voting to mandate minimum wage for us domestic workers. They are demanding minimum wage be that every single domestic worker, from housekeepers to nannies to drivers to butlers, our minimum wage has to be $13. So you cannot accept any other job now that is less than $13. Because that is technically illegal, because our minimum wage is $13 or more for us domestic workers. And y'all, this is huge. This is so big. Now, I know some of you are thinking, well, dang, only $13, that's nothing. Well, coming from some like that is something, y'all, because technically minimum wage was for us was what the minimum wage was for your state at that time, and some states are still at $8 an hour, $7 an hour, and that's nothing. Well, you guys know our industry is very diverse. We have a lot of people that come from a lot of different countries to come over here to become a nanny or to become an ARP or pair or to come an NCS. They come over here because, one, that's what they know that they can they love taking care of people, they love taking care of kids, and they know that here there's a lot of families here that are able to provide a well living for them. But some of these nannies that come over don't have the knowledge of what should be the right pay for them or what should be their worth. And some of them were accepting jobs that cost maybe $1 an hour, based off of how many hours they worked and what their paycheck ended up being. And they just had no idea. And that still goes on, you guys, because I'm telling you, I read so many stories about how these nannies take jobs that, after you divide how much work you do and how much you're getting paid, some of them are getting paid like we're almost getting paid $1 to 50 cents an hour, and they just didn't realize it because they didn't know. Now this is all out the door because we are at a minimum at $13 an hour, which is almost 2 times. If you're looking at $7.25 for a minimum wage, now for us nannies, we're looking at almost double the minimum wage. And that's huge. That means that these nannies that are come from the other countries or people that are starting in our industry may not know are going to at least get paid a little bit of what they should be paid. Now, I'm not saying $13 is what we should just settle with, but now there are certain situations and different circumstances that make that well fit. But this is a big win for us, huge win for us. And I can't thank enough for the people that were on the Domestic Workers Alliance. Y'all are out there doing our thing and making noise for this industry and being a nanny I appreciate, and I thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. So, guys, yeah, that's it. That's all I have. I do want to say, if you are wanting to be part of the Domestic Workers Alliance, I'm not really sure how this all goes to play, but there is an Instagram. I will comment. I will link their social media pages below, so you can go give them a follow and maybe reach out to one of the directors and see how you can get a part of this board if you're interested in making some type of impact, or a different type of impact on this industry. Not saying you're not by just being a nanny, but if you want to be in the Domestic Workers Alliance and help make some changes, I would love to see that and highly suggest you, and thank you for even wanting to. So you can check out their social medias and information below. That kind of wraps up for the Nanny News for this week. I just wanted to hit some different stories. We hit the celebrity drama. We had some of the, some nannies that had some rough, crazy, traumatic days. And we ended with making some noise. We made some noise in this industry. So I hope that you guys kind of enjoy this episode. Like I said, guys, if you have not checked out the Nanny of the Year episode, I highly suggest you guys do. It is so good. I loved it. And I hope you all have a great weekend. Thank you so much for tuning in for Nanny News, and we will all see you guys for next episode next week. Love you all. Bye.